Good day to all. The topic of discussion today is regular and best judgment assessment under State General Taxes Act. Let us first look at the actors in the room. The first one is the assessor. Who is an assessor? An assessee is a person by whom tax is payable or any person against whom any proceedings have been initiated for the taxpayer. Then comes the assessing authority. Assessing authority is any person or agency authorized by government or by an authority empowered by government to make an assessment. Every assessee who earns beyond a basic exemption limit in a financial year must file a statement containing details of his earnings, deductions, etc. This is called the tax return. So now let us look at the relevance of taxation. Why taxation? Taxation is the means by which a government or the taxing authority imposes or levies a tax on its citizens and also business entities. Taxation applies at many different levels. And why taxation? In a welfare state, the government has to find resources to fund the welfare activities for its citizens. There are a plethora of welfare activities undertaken by modern governments, and that is where the concept and importance of the different taxes and the necessity to conduct fair assessment of taxation becomes relevant. If assessees fail to pay taxes on time or try to evade taxation, it not only erodes the financial base of the government but also affects the balance of fairness that has been created among citizens with the different taxation laws in that country. Now let us look at the different types of taxes in India. The tax structure in India can be classified basically into two main categories: direct tax and indirect tax. The tax imposed directly on a taxpayer who is required to pay it to the government is called direct tax. An individual cannot assign or pass a direct tax or the responsibility to pay direct tax to another person on his behalf. Some of the examples of direct taxes imposed on Indian citizens are income tax, corporate tax on the profits earned by companies from its business, etc. Indirect tax is the tax levied not on the income, profit, or revenue, but on the goods and services rendered by the taxpayer. Unlike direct tax, indirect taxes can be shifted from one individual to another. They Indirect taxes, as the name suggests, is not paid directly by the taxpayer to the government. The person who renders the goods and services has to collect it from the consumer and pay it to the government. Some examples are sales tax, customs duty, stamp duty, registration fee, etc. Apart from these, there are some minor taxes levied by the local authorities like the municipality, the local self-government, etc. Now let us come to the Kerala General Sales Tax Act 1963. The Kerala Legislature in 1963 passed an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to the levy of a general tax on the sale and purchase of goods in the state of Kerala. This act is called the Kerala General Sales Tax Act. What is the scope of the act? If I quote from the act itself, any person who carries on the business of buying, selling, supplying, or distributing goods, executing work contracts, transferring the rights to use any goods, or supplying by way of any service any goods directly or indirectly, whether for cash or for deferred payment, or for commission, remuneration, or other valuable consideration, including a casual trader, a commission agent, broker, auctioneer, a non-resident dealer or agent, or a local branch of a firm or company are all included within the scope of this act. So that shows that the act is wide enough. A transfer of property in goods by the central government or a state government for cash or for deferred payment or other valuable consideration is also covered by this act. The sale or purchase of goods are deemed to have taken place in the state and are liable to taxation irrespective of whether the contract for sale or purchase has been made outside the state if the goods are located within the state. Let us look at how the assessment of tax is handled in the Act. Chapter 5 of the Kerala General Sales Tax Act 1963 deals with the procedure for assessment of tax. Section 17 of the Act prescribes that every dealer who is liable to take registration should submit return relating to his turnover in the manner prescribed in the Act. If the assessing authority is satisfied that the return submitted is correct and complete, it should assess the dealer on the basis of the return. This is called a regular assessment, even though it's not defined like that in the Act. But if the taxpayer or the dealer does not submit a return within the prescribed period, or if the return submitted appears to be incorrect or incomplete, the assessing authority should assess the dealer to the best of his judgment, and that is called the best judgment assessment. According to section 17 subsection 3, the assessing authority should make sufficient enquiry and gather relevant materials before resorting to an assessment by his best judgment. The authority should also give a reasonable opportunity for the dealer for being heard. If a return has been submitted by the dealer, the assessment authority should give the opportunity for the dealer to prove the correctness and completeness of the return submitted before resorting to best judgment assessment. According to section 17 subsection 4a, the assessing authority cannot resort to assessment by best judgment for a cooperative society registered under the Kerala Cooperative Societies Act 1969 if the return furnished by that society is duly supported by the audit report of the society issued by the Registrar of Cooperative Societies. But this exemption is not applicable in the case of a cooperative society that has been penalized for violation of any section of the Act, or if an attempt to evade tax has been regularized by accepting a penalty under section 47 of the Act. The power to assess a dealer to the best of its judgment by an assessing authority arises when the dealer fails to produce adequate evidence in support of his sale turnover. In making such an assessment, the authority must satisfy both procedural as well as substantive requirements of the Act. The procedural requirements consist of giving a fair hearing to the assessee, and the substantive requirement is that the assessment must be based on the material collected and not a pure guess. The term best judgment means that the assessing authority must do the best he can under the circumstances. The problem of best he can arises only when the assessee is not able to support his return or turnover by documentary or other evidences. In the absence of evidence forthcoming from the assessee, the authority will be compelled to do the best it can under the circumstances. The Act uses the term best judgment assessment in that sense. Now let us look at some case laws. In Commissioner of Sales Tax versus Ganga Prasad, the court held that if the dealer does not produce the stock register, the authority can reject the account books and assess the dealer according to its best judgment. In K. Shashilal versus Fast Track Assessment Team number 2, the Kerala High Court on 16th March 2020 held that the assessment completed shall not be reopened unless there is a fresh receipt of materials pertaining to tax evasion. In Messrs. Joy Alucas versus State of Kerala, the court held that even if there is a mistake or omission in an order of the assessing officer, it is within his powers to modify such order and demand the tax escaped. The power of the Deputy Commissioner under Section 35 can be exercised in respect of any order passed by the assessing officer which is prejudicial to the interest of the revenue. In State of Kerala versus Sri P.D. Shaju, the court held that sufficient reason is needed for a review of assessment, even if it is to rectify an error apparent on the face of the records. To conclude, we can say that the assessment proceedings are quasi-judicial and principles of natural justice must be observed by the authority in assessing a dealer using best judgment. Thank you.